What is up, run fans? Welcome back to Light It Up with me, Sam, and today is an exciting video because we have 1 week until the big show, Snowdon Trail Marathon. I've been wanting to do this for nearly 2 years. Last year, I couldn't do it because I had a stress fracture, and then this year I've been really building. Part of why I started my YouTube channel was to document this race. I started in September and I've been working towards this point. It has been a very difficult time over the last couple of months with another injury I've had, and I'm going to cover everything to do with the race. We're going to be looking at my training so far and the build up to this race, the kit and everything I'm going to be taking, the route and a course preview with the plans of how we're going to tackle this mammoth marathon, and then finally we're going to look at our final week's preparation and what I'm going to be doing. But before we go any further, I want to make sure that I'm respecting all the Welsh boys and girls out there. Sounded Scottish more, that didn't it? With the correct pronunciations of Snowdon and Snowdonia. So rate me out of 10 how I get on with these. Check out the tongue rolls as well. So Snowdon is Wyddfa and Snowdonia is Ruri. Second one not as good. I've done this video a couple of times in practice and it was much better that time. But you win some, you lose some. I'll keep practicing to make sure they are absolutely nailed on for next week. Right, without further ado, let's get on it, boys. Right, first up then, let's look at the training. And I've got to tell you a little bit of a story here, so bear with me for 1 minute. I came back to running from a stress fracture in September, so when I started this channel. I then got some really good training coming all the way through in practice for Manchester Marathon. That was one of my key goals. I wanted to run sub 3, and as I got closer and closer to it, I realized I didn't want to push my hip too early too soon, so I moved the goal slightly to sort of a sub 3:10. I was bang on for that. Training was going really well. I was feeling really good, but to be honest, I hadn't really changed that much about my training compared to before when I got my stress fracture, and the fatigue started to build and I wasn't listening to my body very well. I went to Switzerland to see my friend's band play in Switzerland, and I went up a mountain and I ran down the mountain and I had really tight hip flexors. I thought it was just an ache. Came back, did some more speed work, and then went to run a half marathon at a fast pace along the Brighton Marathon route. And 12k into that run, my hip flexor, I'm pretty sure it tore because I couldn't walk on it at all, no weight bearing. It was absolutely ruined. I thought I'd done a stress fracture again, so I was really panicking. That put away any hopes and dreams of doing Manchester. So I was like, don't worry, that's fine. You win some, you lose some. I need to learn from this. So I completely changed how I look at my running, and I think in the long run it's going to do me good, and I'm going to look back at this injury and be like, yes, that's when the tide turned and I really started to get stronger and faster to reach even greater heights when it comes to road running and trail running. That was on March 18th, coincidentally my birthday, and I basically had 9 weeks off. I was really sensible. I went on crutches and I recovered really well, but during that time I decided the changes had to be made. So I started seeing a physio or a masseuse once a month, and I also started seeing Becky at Riff Fitness once a month for personal training sessions, and that's where the difference has been. I have been running. I did a half marathon about a month ago. I've been doing some trail runs and walks, and I've been doing park runs, but I've not been hammering the mileage because my hip has been feeling very delicate all the way through, and I think I've been on the edge of hurting myself a bit more for weeks and weeks. So what I've done for the last month is I've gone, tell you what, I'm not going to run. I'm just going to do park run once a week to get some videos done, and that's been really helping it. I think I just needed to see this as a bit of a off season. But what I have been doing is I've been strength training like no one's business. I've been doing at least 2 hours a week, and I've also been doing mobility, stretching and resistance bands pretty much every other day. So I'm the strongest I've ever been. My core, my arms, I know it doesn't look like it, and especially my legs, my glutes, my calves. I've been working really hard, doing plyometrics and everything like that. Now, I have been hitting that really hard. and my Achilles are very, very sensitive at the moment because of all the plyometrics I'm doing. But I'm aware of that, and I know it's not a bad thing, it's just they've been working quite hard. So I've got all this week off, which I'll be talking about later. So the training hasn't been great, but while I've been injured, I've been doing loads of stair stepper. I was doing up to 4 or 5 hours a week on the stair machine. I've been doing loads of weights, as I've been saying, loads of cross training, mountain biking. So my fitness is still absolutely on point. I'm really happy. And I would be confident for a 5K at least. I reckon I could run close to my PB time for my 5K, because I might have lost some running fitness, but I've gained lots of speed and strength everywhere else in my body. So once I apply some running training as well, I'm hoping I'm going to be going to the moon when it comes to speed and longevity for the marathons and half marathons I've got planned. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's talk about Snowdon. So am I ready? I think I'm as ready as I can be. I've been umming and ahhing about whether I should do it or not for 3 months pretty much. But Seb and Ben and Sam, who are my friends who I'm doing it with, they've been really supportive. And with the way we're going to, if it was a normal marathon where I was going to run the whole way, then I don't think I would do it. It's not worth the risk. Whereas for this, I'm going to talk about it in the race plan. We're going to be walking a lot. There's going to be lots of hiking, lots of uphills, downhills, and that's fine, touch wood, for my hip. Using the poles, running at an easier pace, I reckon we'll be okay. Like I said, I've done a half trail marathon 4 weeks ago, and I was okay. My hip was all right. It felt a little bit sore afterwards, but I've had a lot of recovery since then. It's moved on a lot. I've done a lot more strength training since then as well. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I am absolutely crapping myself, because the only goal is I want to finish and not be injured, so then I can have like a week off, obviously, or 2 weeks off as you normally would after a marathon, but then I can get back to normal training and start building nice and slowly towards my other goals for the rest of the year, which are Copenhagen half marathon, Seville half marathon, and then Brighton marathon next year. So they're the main ones with lots of races and things like that. So I just want to get back fully healthy and fit so I can smash it. So that's the only thing. I don't care how slow we go, as long as I finish, and like a week or 2 weeks later, I'm able to start my training nice and steady. I'm not going into a 100K week straight away. I'm gonna be doing like 20 to 30K to start with, and building nice and easy. So I'm a changed man. My training's all different, and I'm hoping it's going to really pay off. But the mind is a difficult thing when it comes to these things, and I'm very aware of every tiny ache and niggle, and you get that when you're running, especially when you're trail running. There's lots of movement and things going on, and my brain immediately panics every time. But we're going to break through it. I'm going to do it and prove to myself. Otherwise, if I don't do it now, I'm just always going to back out of things, and I've got to know where that line is. And I think I'm in a better place to be able to do that with the support of Laura, fantastic physio that I work with, and Becky, my fantastic PT as well. Right, let's talk about, what was that? Okay, let's talk about the route. Now, it's technically an ultra, because anything over 26 miles, 26.2 miles is surely an ultra. It's 27 miles. It's 1,685 meters, which I think is over 5,000 feet. So it's no joke. But the majority of that is Snowdon itself, so I'm not massively panicking, because we're not having to run up that. We can walk up that, and it's, you know, not a problem. It goes up the pig track. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly. So it's basically flat other than Snowdon. Now the starting point, and this is actually good for me, it does start and it climbs from about 300 feet to about 1,400 feet, so about 1,100 feet of climbing at the very start for like the first 5K. And I think that's really good, because we can just walk it, take it nice and easy, use it as a warm up and get into it. Now there is a cutoff later on where the half marathon goes one way, and I've always got that option. So if I'm not feeling it, or I'm, you know, something's wrong with how my hip feels, I can just cut across and go do the half marathon. But I'm really hoping that I'm going to be feeling super strong, and we're going to get through that first section nice and happy, and then run nice and easy to the base of the base of Snowdon. So I'm breaking up into 4 sections. You've got the first section, the up and then the down, which is around sort of 10K. And then the middle 2 10Ks, so it's like a half marathon in the middle that is basically flat rolling terrain, taking it nice and easy. But too easy, I think I end up running in a weird way. So there is a fine balance of actually running at a pace that fits my gait cycle and that comfort, rather than going so slow that it's just awkward and you end up creating new stresses on your body that you're not used to. So I'm mindful of that actually keeping a decent pace that is comfortable for me is probably more important than going really, really slow. The final section is basically going up and down Snowdon. So up the pig track, really technical climb, using the poles. And by the time, if I get to the base of that, that's my race. Reach the base of that. And then worst case is I can just mountain climb, walk up it and get to the top. And then worst case for the last 4 or 5 miles, I'll just walk downhill, totally fine. But I'm hoping I can then run nice and gently downhill. I'm aware that steep, long downhill is gonna be a big, big test on the old hip flexors. So maybe some running, some walking. If Seb and the boys want to go ahead, they absolutely can, or they can stick with me and we can all take the mickey out of each other, as we always do. So that's the plan. It looks like a really fantastic route. There's gonna be lots of people out there. I'm gonna be making a film. I've got 2 cameras, I've got my drone, I've got all sorts of stuff going on, which I'm gonna show you in a second. So the plan, no time plan, it's walk nice and easy, first 10K with a bit of running, just feeling out how I'm going. Middle, 2 10Ks or half marathon in the middle, we're going to be running along, keeping it nice and steady, using the poles to try and keep that pressure as much as possible off my limbs. Even though I think they'll be fine, it's just good practice to save a little bit for the end. And then the last bit, up and down Snowdon. You know, my race is 30K long. Get to that 30K point and I'm at the base of Snowdon, and then we're pretty much there. I know I'm underestimating how massive and difficult Snowdon is, but I've done loads and loads of stair stepper. I've done at least 14, 15 hours worth of stair stepper in the last couple of months, and doesn't hurt my hip whatsoever. My calves and my Achilles might be a different story, but they'll be nice and warm by then, and I'm wearing all sorts of things to try and help that, including my insoles and my poles and everything else. So we should be good. I'm really excited. It's gonna be amazing. Right, next up is the kit. So I'm gonna go through everything pretty quickly and explain my reasons. So first reason, I've got my Sums socks. They're trail socks. Some sent these to me, which is very nice of them. But these are so soft and comfortable, and they're gonna be absolute all day, perfect things to wear. So I'm going with those. Next up, I've got my Oakley radars. These are great because they just stick on your head like this when you don't need them. When you do need them, nice and comfortable, nice and tight, but not too bad. I'm not going with my Rendezvous replica type sunglasses. I'm going with the real deal because I want the absolute best when it comes to being outdoors for that amount of time. I've purchased these recently. These are 262 shorts, and they're 40 quid. They're split shorts. I've got a liner in here. They're nice and high up on my legs. I don't like shorts that go really far down. And they've got loads and loads of storage all the way round, which is really, really helpful. So because I'm taking cameras and drones and all sorts, I've got to try and make as much space in here as possible. I do want to wear my half tights because I just think they'll be a bit for, potentially 6+ hours. If they're just a bit restrictive, these are going to be much, much comfier. I've then also bought my brand new Say Sky t-shirt that's inside out because I wore it this morning at Parkrun. Wanted something nice and light, keep the sun off, but also not absorb too much heat. So that's super light and nice. I'm going for the Varga Featherlight cap. I might take my trail cap just in case the weather is a bit rubbish and it's rainy, but this is it runs quite warm. And even though it's going to be cooler at the top of Snowdon, this is my go-to for these sorts of things. It disappears on your head. Seb and the boys have got some insane bucket hats. Seb looks like a cricket umpire. It's amazing. So I'll make sure to get that, but I'm sticking with the fashion over function. Plenty of sunscreens, obviously going to be worn. Then my pack. I have got my Harrier poles, and if you've been watching my videos, you know that I've not been the best when it comes to using my quiver, but I've been practicing and I'm much better at it now. These Helvellyn Pro Harrier poles are absolutely brilliant. I've used them in a trail marathon before, and they're very, very light and very easy to use. They'll probably be out most of the time. I'm not going to be using this that much, but the quiver just attaches to the back. The backpack I've got now, I was tempted to buy a bigger backpack vest, because this is a 5 litre, this is an Advanced Skin 5, I absolutely love this. I have worn it for hundreds of hours on the bike and also whilst running, but trying to hold all the mandatory kit. So you've got to have a foil blanket, you've got to have a taped seamed jacket. So I've got my Ron Hill jacket there. It's like my Romanian national champs jersey, which I absolutely love. Great jacket, but I don't think I'm gonna be wearing it. But you can never be too sure, that's why this is mandatory. And then you have to take waterproof trousers, and I'm sure I can get smaller, lightweight ones, but I don't want to be spending it just for one race. Maybe when I do some more ultras and things in the future, I'll obviously get some different ones, but these are just regatta. I wear them for golf. So they take up a lot of room and a bit annoying, but you've got to do it. I've then got a buff. You have to take a buff, and then you have to take gloves as well. And then you also have to have a whistle, and my whistle is attached to the pack somewhere. It's tiny, but it does work and it is really good. So that will, there you go. That will check that box. Yeah, I would, in an ideal world, I'd spend the money, but it's 125 quid and I don't need another pack. This one is absolutely perfect for what I need. So I'm just gonna shove it all in. I'm gonna use the shorts to make sure I've got plenty of space in there as well. Now, I'm gonna be taking this selfie stick, which is absolutely massive, to try and get some drone-like shots in the places where you're not allowed to use a drone. It's quite heavy, but it slots really nicely in my pack as well. I'll show you, I'll do some B-roll of me actually wearing all the kit. But DJI, super great, really sturdy, and that's gonna work an absolute treat. And then I'm also taking this bad boy, which for maybe 2 or 3 shots, but hopefully I'll get some absolutely amazing ones. My DJI Neo, complete with some light it up stickers. This is so good, this drone. You just set it off, it follows you, it does all sorts. You get about probably about 15 minutes of flying. If it's windy, absolutely no chance. But that's gonna go in the back of my pack as well. And then nutrition-wise, I'm a bit of a gel monster. I'm not gonna lie. I've done times where I've done sort of 12, 13 gels. My stomach is really good, touch wood, when it comes to that. So I've got High Five. I absolutely love these gels. They're really light, they're nice and slim, so you can put them in all different places. And when it comes to eat them, it's just a one bang and then it's done. Plenty of carbs. Again, it's hard to pace, or it's hard to judge the nutrition for this, because when I'm going flat out, I know I've just got to try every 20 minutes, try and get something down, and that'll be enough carb to keep me going. Whereas we're not necessarily heart rate wise, going to be smashing out calories, but then you are on feet all that time. So I don't want to overdo it. I've done that before on the bike when we did the South Downs Way in a day. I took a load of beta fuel early doors and that absolutely wrecked my stomach because it was not ready. So just a steady influx of that. I've then got some emergency 75 grams of caffeine, SIS gels for when the going gets tough and I'm halfway up Snowdon, about to collapse. So I'll also have some sweets, Haribo, and they've got loads of aid stations. I'm gonna have 2 500ml water bottles that go in the pack as well. And yeah, that's about it for kit. So, oh no, my shoes. Oh, I'm gonna be using these bad boys. They're Saucony Exodus Ultra. I think they're the ones, Exodus Ultra ones. I think these are just the absolute go-to shoe. I know Lloyd from Run for Adventure, he really rates them. I bought these for my dad and then I've stolen off him because he's not using them. So I've got plenty of tread. They're barely worn, but they're definitely comfortable enough. And then my secret weapon, and this video is not sponsored by them, but the Snowdon one probably is going to be, is these Enator insoles. Now, look how thick they are. And people who review them go on about how they solve their plantar fasciitis and Achilles pain, and I can completely see that. I use them for my trail running because the insoles you take out are also quite thick. When I tried to put these in my running shoes, they're a bit too big for my liking. I'm very sensitive when it comes to my feet and the feeling of socks, and even too thick socks makes me not want to run in them. So these are a bit too much for running shoes, but for my trail shoes is absolutely perfect. And I've been wearing them and they've been really helping all different aches and pains in my ankles, in my calves. And so these are my little secret weapon for this run. And hopefully they're going to sponsor the video when it comes to the actual Snowdon video, and I'm going to be talking about how they've been helping me, and hopefully the biggest endorsement can be I get through that run, that marathon, and finish, and they have been part of that without me getting injured and then being able to carry on with my journey of running. So yeah, that's all the kit. Let me know, am I missing anything? Give me some top tips of what I might need to do, or how I can pack it in a certain way. That'd be really, really helpful. Right, that is about it. I've got one more week to go. I've done my run today at Park Run. I'm not planning on going to the gym this week. I'm not planning on running at all, because nothing I do now is gonna have an impact on the outcome other than detrimental. I could go out and do loads of training, loads of extra running, and my muscles gonna be knackered, and I'm not gonna be ready to take the marathon on Saturday. We're driving up on Friday. It's gonna be a long old drive. It's like 8 to 9 hours, I think. So me and Seb are gonna go up, stay the night Friday night in Llanberis, meet up with everyone else, and then we're gonna head down to the start line nice and early and just get going. Like, I'm so excited for it, but I'm also so nervous because it's been on my mind. Every step I've taken for the last 4 months, it's been, how is it? How am I feeling? What's going on? And I think I'm at a space where I now can push through and prove to my brain that we're going to do it. So yeah, pray to the running gods for me. You can track, I'll put all the details of where you can track my number on the day if you want to do that, or check out my Instagram and Strava. They've already probably come up on this video, but I'll put them up again here, so then you could be the first one to see, because I'll be posting stories and stuff while we're out, hopefully, and then I will edit the video as quickly as I can and get it out. But I just want to say thank you to everyone who's been asking me about it, supporting with it. Obviously the training videos don't get anywhere near as many views as all the parkrun stuff, and that's totally fine. I like to have that balance of doing parkrun videos and fun stuff like that, but also doing longer training series that build up towards a big video. And because I love the creative side of that, I've got some songs lined up that I want to use, I've got some shots I want to do, and I've just got to try and trust Seb to use a camera because he's awful at it. But fingers crossed he'll actually do some sort of job for me. If not, I'll get Ben, because I reckon he'll be better, and Sam. Sam is from up north, and I'm not sure if technology's reached him yet, but maybe it'll be interesting for him to use something with electricity for the first time. So yeah, thank you very much. Think of me, and let me know in the comments if you're doing it. Come and say hi. And yeah, like I said, I'm so excited. I'm so scared because it's been 2 years in the making, and there's been all these things getting in the way. So if I can cross that finish line feeling good and then injury free, that is going to be most overwhelming. That's going to mean more to me than a 2:50 marathon at the moment. So yeah, that is my mountain to climb, and hopefully we will get there. And then after that, we will then push on, hopefully safely, but with all the strength, and yeah, keep going. The aim is 2027 good for age London, so some 250, sub 250 marathon. But I've got a load of things that I've got to do before that. I've got to get my half marathon time 1:20 or below. I've got to get my 5k time below 18. I want to get my 10k time somewhere near 35 and below. So plenty of things to get on. It's going to be a really, really busy summer, which is why I feel a lot of pressure that I don't want to mess this run up. I don't want to not do it. I want to do it, and I feel like I'm in the right place to be able to conquer this. I just need to be really sensible when I do it, and just think about my health and making it through and enjoying the experience, because what a privilege, what an absolute, gratitude moment to have, being able to do this and have these worries as my worries, because lots of people don't. And so I absolutely am grateful for it, and I'm very grateful for everyone who's been getting involved and is following the journey. And if you're new to all this, welcome, and I'll see you out there. Right, cheers boyo, I'll see you out there. Way, that's Geordie, no idea where that came from. Right, peace.